my dad talked about the cooperative economic empowerment movement, there was no name, but we were in the hospital and we had just gone through a few days where we didn't think that he was going to make it. I came in to see him and he mentioned that he had this vision that had come to him about what to create for African Americans. And he promised God that if he were to live, he would do this.
I was aware of the fact that he was wanting to do something for his people.
And Reggie's the kind of guy that when something's on his mind, he can't help himself. He's going to tell you about it, particularly if he wants to get you involved and get your support.
He always talked about the fact that we need to take hold of our community, and the way you take hold of your community, you have to own things.
No one has ever come to me to talk about parity before. He talked about that there's a difference in the wealth gap between people of color, and we focused on the African American population. And until we have parity, we really can't make the progress that we needed.
He talks about coming together for a shared and common goal and common outcomes, that if in fact we all participated as good citizens should, that we all can win.
He said he wanted to create a vehicle that could generate, I want to say, generational wealth for Black people. Can you imagine if we owned a gas station? We only went to that gas station and we just made that a huge success. And then we take the money and open up another gas station. He was trying to say something that was just for us, and that we could, I guess, create the unity amongst ourselves and to really want to help each other.
When he was thinking about what name could we use, he came up with the Cooperative Economic Empowerment Movement. And they said, oh, that's a good name.
But I do remember my dad talking about the European model that he had read about and studied with Mondrian and wanting to emulate that.
He's waking us up and saying, let's go, let's do this together. I have been shown a path, and I'm willing to share, and let's go together. I've been partway down the road, if you will, and let's do this, and I'll lead the way, and I will give my time, my effort, my resources, and join in.
He was inviting me in to tap on the shoulders of other educators to join the movement. He said, do you want to be part of a movement? And I immediately said yes. And then the other part that was so inviting about Reggie Webb was his stance on faith and high excellence standards, because I believe that it's not just what you do, but it's how you do it. And he represented everything that I knew about quality individuals, and I was ready to follow.
So the family, the friends, business people, we all came together and launched this incredible journey that we are now on.
The thing that I remembered about our first meeting is how humble he was for someone as accomplished as he is.
The benefits of entrepreneurship in a family, or when your parents are entrepreneurs, is you learn things that they're not sitting you down saying, let's have a conversation about parity, or this is what I did today.
I find myself to be lucky in that I grew up in a household where going to school in the morning, my dad would schedule his conference calls. And while a McDonald's franchisee in the mid-90s, I remember being in the car and he was having conversations about parity. Having that kind of experience was wonderful. And that's really what the impetus for CEEM was. Somewhere in around 2012, my dad realized that what he did in McDonald's was great and really excellent, but it also wasn't enough for the proverbial us.
He very well could have taken the benefits of his hard work at McDonald's, taken what he has accomplished in the 16 restaurants that he had, and he could have taken that and he could have walked off into the sunset. but he chose to extend his family to our community through CEEM. And that's why I think those who have heard the message and believe in this man of integrity share his vision and want to see it come to fruition.
You can go fast by yourself, but you can go far together. Well, that's what we're doing. We're trying to go far. We're trying to make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for those in our community.
When people learned about it, he thought a lot of people would sign up right away. And so that wasn't the case, but he's kept with it.
The kinds of things that Reggie has been involved in that I've witnessed are legendary. Reggie had an opportunity to look at various businesses and to help them along. And in one instance, he was able to advise an individual on how to go about making a success out of their business, talking to them specifically. When they fell, he was able to pick them up by the bootstraps, encourage them, dust them off, and send them on their way.
He was the only Black man that I knew that even had a relationship where I could pick up the phone and say, hey, well, I figured this out with my business. Which direction would I go in with my, and I had so much respect for him because he was a proven successful Black man that I knew. And the only one that I knew that was that successful in my lifetime. And so he was like such a huge mentor to me, to tell me, this is what you should do, Linda, and this is how you should do it.
He opened doors. He insisted that they open the door for other Black vendors to the LA County Fair.
He will not accept no for an answer. He's tenacious. He goes after things, and he brings everybody along with him.
You have to have love to talk about parity and your people and what's happening. And, you know, being willing to be the one in the room to bring up the thing that nobody wants to talk about.
When you talk to the county supervisors of San Bernardino, for instance, there's a need for parity. So if there's 10% of Blacks, then Blacks should get 10% of the economic vitality, contracts, progress and programs in that community. It's called parity. And he is high on that. And I've seen him in action over and over again, asking for it, demanding it, and we're working our progress toward achieving that. He's a great man.
I'm most proud because he stayed the course. And the one thing that I am so impressed and proud with him for is keeping the values of the organization. Early on, he said, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it a certain way. And he hasn't wavered on that. Integrity, honesty, caring, kindness, all these key values that really make the difference in where the rubber meets the road.
I'm most proud of the example and his integrity with who he is and what he believes. You know, his actions were consistent. And I'm also very proud of his execution. Grateful to be his son. And feel a deep sense of responsibility through him.
When I think of Mr. Webb, Dr. Webb, I think of the greats, the Martin Luther Kings and the Bob Marleys and all of the people that brought us forward.
He kept moving forward and he stood up to power when everyone else was afraid. He continues to do that. He continues to ask us to be bigger than our fears. Continues to ask us to believe when there is all the reasons not to. And he continues to be all of those things, right? Even in the midst of his health challenges.
It's time to pass the torch, but the torch is still lit. As long as he has 2 breaths, he's gonna give back. The love community just flows through him. And he can't breathe without the support of the CEEM community. He just loves it. And it makes all the difference in his life.